everyone, let's look at today's question. Apply and evaluate the impact, positives or negatives, of advanced creative thinking or problem-solving skills. Remember that before we can answer this question, we must look at the cognitive verb or the action word. The action words for today are apply and evaluate. Remember that when we ask you to apply and evaluate, we ask the learner or the candidate to express an opinion or argue for or against the subject or the topic. Remember also that split marks are awarded here. Let's look at our content. Our various creative thinking or problem-solving techniques are force field analysis, Delphi technique, nominal group technique, and brainstorming. Let's look at the impact in a positive way, the impact in a negative way, and also the application in a scenario. For the force field analysis, the positives are that factors that support or are against specific ideas can be seen in a visual summary. The negatives is that it may not result in a full consensus in the group. Consensus means to agree. The application to a scenario would be consider the forces for and against a decision, or look at the pros or the advantages and the cons or the disadvantages. For the Delphi technique, experts give anonymous proposals so that they can feel and be creative. A negative of the Delphi technique is that this process is time-consuming and expensive. If we apply it to a scenario, this is where we invite a panel of selected experts to participate in the process, carefully design the questionnaire, and send it to the panel. Let's look at the nominal group technique. A positive is that group members share ideas. Votes are also anonymous, and all the members have an equal say in the final decision. A negative of the nominal group technique is that ideas may not converge and there may not be consensus. In other words, agreement. Application to a scenario would be identifying the problem, numbering the possibilities, and voting for the top 3 solutions. The vote then determines the best solution. Let's look at brainstorming. A positive of brainstorming is that it stimulates creative thinking. People get ideas from others and build on those ideas. A negative of brainstorming is that it can be dominated by one strong team member. Shy members often don't contribute. An application to a scenario would be that we solve problems in a team and generate new ideas in a group. Let's look at some keywords now. For the force field analysis, they are summary for the positives, not full consensus for the negatives, and for the application, for and against, something positive and something negative. For the Delphi technique, the keywords are anonymous for the positives and time-consuming for the negative. For the application, we look at the word panel and experts. For nominal group technique, it is group members for the positive, no consensus or there not being consensus for the negative of the nominal group technique, and vote for the application. For brainstorming, the keywords are others for positive, shy for negative, and generate new ideas for the application. Let's look at some images that can help us remember this content. For force field analysis, with the positives, we see 2 pages. One has a right mark or a check mark, and the other has a cross. This also reminds you of a visual summary. For the negatives, you can see a group of people and they are all talking in the speech bubble at the top. And when we see this, hopefully you will remember that not everybody agrees on the chosen strategy. For the Delphi technique, we see a person or an employee with a question mark. And hopefully this will remind you of anonymous, not knowing the identity of the person. And that is a good thing. However, we have an hourglass for the negatives of the Delphi technique, and this hourglass will hopefully remind you that this technique can be time-consuming. For the nominal group technique, we see a group of people or a large group of people, and that will remind you of group members. And for the nominal group technique, negatives, we see a scale and we see 2 people on the one side and 1 on the other. And you can see that that scale is not balanced, which means that there is no agreement between the members. Then for brainstorming, we see a group of people, we see one speech bubble, and you see a light bulb inside the speech bubble, and you can see that they are throwing ideas out into the group. And then for our last image for brainstorming, we see one employee with a little bit of a sweat mark above the head, and that is reminding you of somebody when they are possibly very shy or very nervous. And this will remind you that sometimes with brainstorming, shy members do not contribute. Let's remove most of the content now. We are left with, for force field analysis, positive is that it gives you a summary, negative, not a full consensus, and for application, for and against. For the Delphi technique, positives, that it's anonymous, negatives, time consuming, and the application, there is a panel of experts. For the nominal group technique, we look at the positives and we see the words group members, negatives, not or no consensus, and for the application, we see the word vote. For brainstorming, we see others, we see the word shy for negatives, and we see generates new ideas. Now we'll remove the keywords. And it's over to you now, learners, to see if you can remember all of this content. Good luck.